Oh, damn, I did not swallow right. Ow. Like swallowed out of sync with the water, and I was like pushing on the water as it was going down, which would obviously squish out in some way. I don't know. Looks like I don't know how to swallow water. The most innate thing within our being. Woo! Connecting it back to the topic of the video. I'm not even joking, I almost choked. Like came into my esophagus and I like... Okay. Why is it that I love each and every one of us? Of you. To have some sort of definition of other, I have to say you, right? In reality, it seems as though we are all one. We are all the universe. We are all the environment and the organisms within, right? We are all this mesh of existence, of creativity that breeds life, that breeds simultaneous experience within us all. And the thing about that is that it's interestingly and innately unique within all of us. Now, the person watching this video, you, I'm speaking you, right? I'm speaking about the other, okay? You're speaking to me, you're listening to me. Me is your sense of other, right? And what's interesting about that is you are having a very deep experience. You are thinking, you are trying to learn, you're trying to figure out what this life is, this existence, this, all of this insanity, right? We're all doing that. And extend that, think about that. The person walking down the street next to you is not just that person walking down the street next to you in your peripherals driving past the intersection, right? That person is you. Not in a sense of universal you, but that person is the depth at which you hold as well. Now, of course, you could say one is just not as innately intelligent to be able to hold the same amount of capacity as another. But generally speaking, they are having just as complex of an experience as you and I, right? Now, isn't that trippy? And the reason this is trippy is because you cannot avoid it. Being somebody is unavoidable. You cannot be of somebody else. So for you to, for example, think of your current self as a person, and then you are disconnected from it in trying to not be your person, right? So in other words, you're trying to act as if you are not acting normal, as if you are not yourself. But in doing so, not acting yourself, you are a person who is trying to not act like their self, right? So being that, you are literally being yourself. You are literally being the person who tries not to be their self, right? So being a person, being a unique individual, being who you are is unavoidable. You cannot try to be somebody else because, again, it's just being yourself. So applying that to authenticity, applying that to the people around you, they're not being traitorous, they're not being hurtful, they're not being, okay, the result is of such feelings, right? But they themselves are not being somebody in which you think they are not. They are literally being themselves. So there really should not be as much confliction as there is. If someone is acting a certain way, they're being themselves to some extent, following the root line all the way back to the stem, to the core, to the innate structure of the being. So it's a really confirming and beautiful understanding where we can just all be ourselves. There's no misshapen entity. We are all perfect in our own regard. And Alan Watts often talks about waves in a different metaphor, but if you think of a wave within the ocean, have you ever seen an imperfect wave, right? If we are all being ourselves, if we are all just an aspect of that wave, or if we all just a wave within the ocean, we are a perfect wave. In a sense, the inaccuracy of perfection, or in a sense of the imperfections of that wave, it's perfectly imperfect, because to be of that wave It's a perfect wave to have those little imperfections, right? That's what makes up a wave. And that's the same thing that makes up humans, that makes up us, that makes up the beautiful reality of this reality, right? So, hello, I'm a human. Mm-hmm.